Hello, friends. We are in Tuesday study and it's getting warm. It's getting warm. It's getting warm in this study. Let me tell you right now, it's hot. Um, we have been looking this week at living in the land. We're examining this story of the two and a half tribes, right? The Reubenites, the Gadites, the half tribe of Manasseh. Their decision to build this very huge altar as they go back home. When they near the Jordan, they erect this great altar. The Bible says that the other nine and a half tribes get very upset and they send a delegation, right? Phineas leads that delegation. Phineas, that name ought to ring a bell from Numbers chapter 25, the focus of our study today. Numbers 25 and Joshua 13, 22, 13 to 15. Phineas leads a delegation to clarify the motives of the two and a half tribes that have erected this great altar. Phineas should raise a little bell in our hearts and our minds, because in Numbers chapter 25, the Bible says that God's people had committed sin. They committed whoredom at Peor, what was called the Vale of Shittim, this beautiful, lush area where they had gathered as they prepared to go over the Jordan. But before they did, they fell into deep sin. I mean, really significant iniquity. And the Bible says that God told the leaders of the nation, listen to this. You got to hear this. The Bible says in Numbers 25 and verse 4, the Lord said to Moses, take all the leaders of the people and execute them in broad daylight before the Lord, so that the fierce anger of the Lord may turn away from Israel. So God says, take all the leaders and kill them. I mean, it's that serious. So the fact that Phineas arrives with a delegation of leaders, now he's got leaders of different clans and tribes and families. The fact that Phineas arrives with leaders means that Phineas, that God has replaced those leaders that died in the past, right? That's a long time ago. They died. God has replaced them. But what's powerful to me in this moment is they remember, they have a sense of what has happened in the past. They remember what has happened, the others that were killed in broad daylight. And in fact, the Bible tells us in Numbers chapter 25 that in the middle of the devastating judgments of God, here comes one Israelite with a Midianite woman, Zimri runs straight into his tent with this woman. And the Bible says Phineas grabs a javelin, goes into the tent and drives the javelin through both of them, both the woman and Zimri, this man who had brought her, Cosby and Zimri, this couple that had flaunted their liaison in the face of God. God is upset. So Phineas quenches, in fact, in that moment, Phineas quenches God's anger because of his righteous indignation. The study today really reminds us of sometimes you got to take drastic action to really stop things that are wrong. But here's the other thing that is important for us to understand. The past informs our present. What has happened in the past should teach us, should help us to be zealous for the work of God, zealous for the things of God, zealous for righteousness. That's really why Phineas and the other leaders arrived. They're zealous for the cause of God, that this evil that once afflicted the people would never come upon them again. They have self-interest at heart. They don't want to go back down the road of apostasy that led them to death and degradation and that led God to punish them. They want everyone to be right with God. And that's what we should want as well. That's our study for today.